Oh yeah, also guys, no demonetization words. I know I'm not monetized, but I still don't want Susan to be on my case. My draft notice arrived in the mail yesterday. I'm angry, but I knew this was inevitable. Oh well. I think you look so handsome in a uniform. I asked Mom if she'd help me escape to Canada, but she wasn't much help. I'm gonna keep at it. What did Johnson say again? I will not send American boys 8 or 10,000 miles to do a job that Vietnamese boys ought to be doing for themselves. Look, I hate the commies as much as the next guy, but this ain't our war to fight. The last thing I want is to die in some jungle and demonetization weird nowhere on the other side of the world because President Johnson's ego is too big to end this war. I'll try to convince Dad about the Canada thing. He's as anti-war if they come. If not, I may have to take matters into my basic. I can't say that I'll enjoy it, but I can say this. Our dress uniforms are sharp. I'm sure these will help me pick up girls. You know what they say, women love a man in uniform. I've also made a new pal, Private Rowley Jefferson. I noticed he seemed a little nervous, so I kind of took him under my wing. Jefferson may seem a little clueless, but let me tell you, that guy can handle an M60 like no other. We did some combat exercises, and under fire, Jefferson was one of the finest human beings in the beings. Yeah, he's a bean. I'm sorry. What did I just say? In the world, all he needs is some throwing hand grenades at him the rest of his life. I'm telling you, nothing phases this guy. The drill sergeant was telling us about combat stress and demonetization, whatever. Jefferson is like a man of steel out there. Absolutely nothing distracts him from the mission at all. I can be the brain and he can be the brawn. I'm telling you, we'll be a great team. Boot camp is done now and I'm off to Vietnam. I'm scared. I've heard how long the average lifespan of grunts over there is, but I've been training them well enough, and who knows, maybe I'll get lucky when I have to. And I've got Jefferson to watch my back. Plus, I met this girl during basics, so I know I have something to fight for. So I can get a ship on tomorrow. I can get on the ship tomorrow at the crack of dawn. Maybe I can see her one last time. Good night, USA. Good morning, Vietnam. Vietnam. What are you smiling about, Private? This is so first patrol tonight. They say that war is like 99% waiting around and 1% actually fighting, and that is completely fine by me. Let me tell you, walking around the rice paddies at night is eerie enough without the threat of a bunch of rice farmers jumping out on you. Sergeant Morris told us all about how the Gooks would always attack first and then blend in with the civilians like the cowards they were. He told us that out here, everyone is the enemy until they aren't. And sometimes you have to go with the extreme, but the brass uh, usually look the other way. I, for one, don't like the idea of shooting civilians, but sometimes you gotta do what you gotta do. Out on patrol one last night. Should have been a night like any other. Boy, was I ever wrong. I was looking down when it happened. One moment, all we hear is the soft sounds of the jungle. The next, the night is torn wide open by the screaming of those commie gooks and the roar of an RPK. Sergeant Morris was hit first, as the poor bastard absorbs the worst of the opening barrage. We tried to retreat to the tree line, but we were caught in the wide open. We were utterly demonetization word. I blindly fired my M16 into the trees and grabbed Private Jefferson and hauled he's a potato back towards camp. Soren said in undershock, I didn't think we'd make it. You know, I know it's not my fault, but yet I wish I had been more alert. Those goose can sure plan an ambush. I have to give them that. Dealing with the ambush has been hard. Surprisingly, Jefferson has taken it especially hard. Keeps only to himself, gets jumpy, random mood swings. Oh, and the nightmares. The guy can't go 2 nights without him waking us all up at night screaming about Sergeant Morris. I have to be honest with you. I think he's losing it. I don't blame him either. Seeing your friends in a pool of blood and guts isn't something the Army tells you about when they're asking you to fight for Uncle Sam. I told Colonel Granger about Jefferson. Mr. Minecraft says Jefferson is just a wuss. Then that's the Army, I guess. I feel it's only a matter of time before Jefferson goes ahead and offs himself. Man, that's a shame. Really, but what else can I do? I don't know how much more Jefferson can take. I saw him at Chow yesterday, just sitting there with his deranged look on his face. Went to say hi to him, and he just kind of turned with his insane grin. Didn't even blink. He's got a jumpy too. Tried to get into our tent last night, and he beat me with my hand to a pulp. I'm telling you, he's gonna snap soon, and when he does, it ain't gonna be pretty. At the very least, he messed up my hand, and I got a few days of Got me a few days of R&R. Sure can't wait to get back. It finally happened. I sustained my first combat injury. Command wanted us to take this godforsaken hill, despite our recon saying it was too well defended. What could go wrong? Napalm it, lob some artillery on those guys, and roll in some tankers. Right? Yeah, sounds great until the airwing is tied up and the artillery needs to be resupplied. This 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 place is a mess. Whatever, we move in until we get pinned down and our air support is unavailable. That's when the gook nails me in the butt. You know, you get hardened to see other people die, but getting shot yourself is a different story. One to cry like a potato. At least I'll be out of commission for a while, getting some leave. It was my last night at the hospital, and I just wanted to rock around a little bit. Well, I'm just wandering around the complex. When I hear this awful scream from down the hall. Look, I've done my time in combat, and this wasn't like any scream I'd heard before. I peeked in the room, and it hit me. You know that sticky orange crap? Napalm? It looks like the government is testing it on its own soldiers. I crept into the room and ducked out of sight. The moment the docs left, I grabbed as many files as I could and ran. Lucky for me, I was hit at the end of my tour. I'll be at home in a few days, and when I get back, I'm going straight to the New York Times. The Army will have my blood for this, but for something. The feds finally caught up with me. It didn't take long for the grand jury to indict me for conspiracy against the U.S. and a bunch of other crap. All this really shows that the government is really just a legalized tyranny. People have the right to know. Next up comes the legal fight. My lawyer is good. He's dealt with the feds before. I've got a fair amount of public support too. But really, this goes to show how messed up this whole situation is. Our boys are dying for no good reason. In this pointless war, I'm going to prison for exposing government lies. This isn't the America I fought for. This isn't the American wars took 7 rounds to the chest for. And it sure is not the it's not the America Jefferson Blues brains out over. Well, that got dark extremely fast. Locked up in a federal prison for 3 years now. It sucks, but I stand for my actions 100%. I only have one regret, and that is that I've put my family through. I know they stand by me, but I can't say that for everyone else. I know my dad's coworkers at the agency don't take kindly to leakers. I just wish that they didn't have to suffer because of my choices I made. Who knows, public support of the war is at an all-time low. Maybe one day people will appreciate my sacrifice. Maybe they'll stop harassing my family. Maybe I'll even get a pardon. Until then, I want my story to be heard. I want Jefferson's to be heard. I want Morris's to be heard. People deserve the truth. This is Private First Class Greg Heffley, over and out.